Welcome to Behind Closed Doors. Lock your doors, turn down the lights, and let the silence in. We often misunderstand the true nature of karma. We expect it to arrive like a sudden, deafening storm. We look for grand, theatrical moments of betrayal, massive arguments, shattered glass, unforgivable sins shouted into the night. We believe that punishment requires a monumental catalyst. But the universe is much more precise than that. True karma, the dark, silent current that runs beneath our lives, doesn't need a storm. It only requires a steady, persistent leak. It thrives on the quiet, agonizing moments of absolute nothingness. Look at the edge of the light. His wife is standing there. She hasn't just walked in. Emotionally, she has been standing on that exact precipice for years. Her eyes are hollow, carrying the terrifying realization that the family they built is slowly, quietly fracturing into dust. She is speaking. She is begging for a lifeline. She is offering him the absolute last chance to be a husband, to be a partner, to simply be present. It is a crucial defining moment. A moment where the trajectory of an entire human life can be altered by simply standing up, by offering a hand, by acknowledging her existence. But watch Mark. Watch the physical manifestation of extreme apathy. A sudden sound pierces the heavy air. A toy drops to the floor. From down the hall, the sharp, distressed cry of his child echoes through the house. It is a sound designed by nature, engineered by millions of years of evolution, to force a parent into immediate instinctive action. It is a biological alarm bell. Yet, Mark's muscles do not twitch. His posture does not change. He calculates the effort. In a fraction of a second, his mind weighs the heavy, complicated burden of confronting his crumbling reality against the smooth, effortless gravity of remaining completely still. He chooses the stillness. He chooses the void. It takes a profound, terrifying amount of selfish energy to actively ignore the suffering of the people who love you. It isn't passive. Apathy is an active, deliberate shield. Every second he remains seated, he is making a conscious, devastating choice. He is telling the universe, loudly and clearly, that his temporary comfort is vastly superior to their enduring pain. He is sinking deeper into the cushions, letting the foam and the leather absorb the responsibility he refuses to carry. The sofa becomes his accomplice. It becomes the physical barrier between him and the outside world. To maintain this illusion, to protect this fragile fortress of isolation, he needs a louder distraction. His thumb finds the remote. Click, click, click. He turns up the volume on the television. He isn't watching the show. He doesn't care about the brightly colored images flashing across the screen. He is simply using the noise as a weapon. He is building a wall of artificial sound to completely drown out the organic, heartbreaking reality of his own life. His other hand pulls out his phone. He begins to scroll. His thumb pauses for a fraction of a second, then keeps going mindlessly, endlessly. His eyes glaze over, completely disconnected from his physical body. The artificial blue light washes over his face, painting him in the pale, sickly colors of a ghost. He is physically present in the room, but he has completely, utterly vacated his humanity. He has become an empty vessel, occupying space, but offering absolutely nothing in return. This is the ultimate insult to look right through someone, to reduce their profound, agonizing pain to something less important than a mindless digital feed. It is a slow, suffocating poison released directly into the atmosphere of the room. But energy cannot simply be destroyed. It must go somewhere. That intense tox silence, that concentrated mass of deliberate neglect, it pours out of him. It rolls off his shoulders, and it sinks directly into the dark brown leather beneath him. The sofa is listening. Inanimate objects in a liminal space do not judge by our human standards of morality. They simply react to the density of the atmosphere. And right now, the air in this living room is thick with a heavy, suffocating rot. Notice the change right under his spine. The cold, soothing touch of the vintage leather is beginning to shift. It is getting warm, unnaturally warm. The material isn't just reflecting his body heat anymore. It is generating its own. It is the friction of 1,000 ignored pleas, the boiling point of silent resentment. The leather begins to pull taut, stretching across the wooden frame with a subtle, menacing tension. It is absorbing the toxicity. It is gorging itself on his apathy. Mark thinks he has successfully shut the world out. He thinks he has won. He doesn't realize that by refusing to participate in reality, he has given the room permission to create a new one. The scales of dark karma have tipped. The object has decided it is time to return the favor. There is an exact, measurable fraction of a second where a choice becomes a permanent reality. For Mark, that fraction of a second arrives the very moment he tightly closes his eyes. He chooses the darkness behind his eyelids over the difficult, fractured reality of his living room. He makes the conscious decision to sever his connection with the world. And the world, the physical space around him, instantly decides to accept his resignation. The shift does not begin with a theatrical earthquake. It begins with the ultimate symbol of his modern escape, his phone. Look at the screen. The endless, mind-numbing scroll of bright colors and artificial validation abruptly freezes. The pixels distort, tearing apart in a violent, silent spasm of digital static. And then nothing. A sudden, deep void of black glass. It isn't a dead battery. It is a severed tether. The room has recognized his intense desire for isolation, and it is eagerly, methodically, beginning to grant his wish. The dominoes have been meticulously lined up by years of his apathy, and now, the first one has finally fallen. The chain reaction accelerates. It moves entirely without friction, fueled purely by the heavy toxic energy of his own neglect. Light is our most fundamental guarantee of safety. It is the invisible boundary that separates the familiar comforts of our home from the unknown terrors of the dark. But in this room, right now, that boundary is being aggressively dismantled. Jump. The standing lamp in the corner sputters, coughing out a sickly, dying yellow glow before suffocating into darkness. Jump. The overhead bulbs flicker in a desperate, erratic rhythm, a visual Morse code of pure panic before snapping off completely. The warm, inviting illusion of the sanctuary is rapidly collapsing. The only illumination left in the entire space is the cold, hostile, unnatural blue radiation bleeding out from the television screen. It paints Mark's pale skin and the dark brown leather of the Chesterfield sofa in the sickly hues of a profound, inescapable isolation. He is no longer sitting in a family home. The architecture of his reality is actively disconnecting from the rest of the house. The room is folding in on itself, shrinking the borders of his existence down to the exact dimensions of his own selfishness. And then the final layer of his defense mechanism turns against him, the sound. He turned up the television to drown out the painful, desperate crying of his child. He used the artificial noise to build a fortress against his wife's pleading voice. But listen to the speakers now. The cheerful, mindless chatter of the broadcast is melting. The audio frequencies stretch and warp, twisting into a low, guttural, metallic hum. It fragments into 1,000 overlapping, distorted whispers. But the true horror, the absolute paralyzing realization, isn't the noise coming from the screen. It is the absolute, terrifying absence of noise from everywhere else. The crying from down the hall, it hasn't simply stopped. It has been erased. The subtle sounds of his wife breathing, moving, existing just a few feet away, gone, wiped completely from the frequency of his reality. He strained so incredibly hard to block them out, to pretend they didn't exist. The room is simply finalizing the transaction. It has granted him the absolute, unbroken silence he so desperately craved, and it is the most deafening, terrifying sound he has ever experienced. Panic, cold and primal, finally pierces through his thick armor of apathy. His eyes snap open. The illusion of control shatters instantly. He commands his brain to move, to stand up, to run toward the hallway, to find his family, to apologize, to fix the monumental error of his silence. He looks toward the doorway, but the logic of this space has been completely rewritten. A door is a promise. A door is a guarantee of an exit, a passage back to the normal world. But the walls of this living room are sealing that promise shut. The frame, the hinges, the wood, they are seamlessly, quietly melting into the flat, endless expanse of the drywall. The exit is simply gone. There is no hallway, there is no house, there is only the room. He tries to launch himself forward. He pushes his hands down against the dark brown leather of the Chesterfield, desperate to break gravity. But the sofa disagrees. The material does not push back. Instead, it gives way. His hands sink deeply into the cushions, swallowed by an unnatural, overwhelming density. The leather wraps around his wrists, thick and immovable. The heavy, invisible weight he created, the phantom occupant, born of his own neglect, is now sitting squarely on his chest. He wanted to be disconnected. He wanted to be left entirely alone with his objects. The shift is complete. The living room has detached from the known universe, drifting perfectly into the cold, silent void of a liminal space. And Mark is firmly, inescapably anchored to the very furniture he used to ignore the world.